a couple more words to the
That's okay.
audience
That's
regarding
okay.
the general rules, and we will start. Шановні учасники вебінару,
So,
вітаємо
dear
вас
participants of the webinar, we're pleased to welcome you at the day 2 at our webinar that is dedicated to the practical issues of exporting apparel and exporting clothes to Canada. So once again, I would like to remind you that this webinar is being held with the support of the Canada-Ukraine Trade and Investment Project, CUTIS, and with the support of the CAC. So the main presenter today, the main speaker today is Maria Guzman, who's the expert of G for Canada, the Export Supporting Office of Canada. And I would like to ask you once again, check out your configuration so you will be able to hear interpretation. At the lower panel, there is the globe-like button that said interpretation, and you have to choose Russian if you would like to hear translation into Ukrainian. So please, any kind of question, you can ask those questions in chat with any language that is comfortable for you. The presentation and the video recording will be later on posted at our website, at our YouTube. Having said that, once again, check out your microphone so you would not have any additional noises. Please mute yourself, mute your mics. And we would like to start. Maria, the floor is yours, please.
Yes, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate this time. Welcome to this presentation. It's the second day. I want to use this time to give you a very practical recommendations about the Canadian market and how to get into this Canadian market, how to find the buyers, how to do the research about the market. Yesterday, we have a very productive day. I present all the information and in order to prepare for the market, what is the market behavior, the materials that you need to have, the tools that you need to have in order to penetrate this market or any international market. The beauty of this is that we can take advantage not only for Canada, but for North America and for other markets that we would like to achieve. So once again, thank you. Once again, welcome. I hope you use this time and take notes. My idea is to have questions and answers at the end. We're also gonna have a testimonial from one of the SMEs from Ukraine, and she's going to give you all her experience from the beginning until the point that she is right now, and she will give you ideas and challenges that she is facing and how she's overcoming all those challenges. So today I want to be very interactive with you because this is a practical day. Yesterday, I show you how to make in the lab the things and get you the materials. Today, we're gonna make the cake. Today is the final day that we are going to put together all those materials. We're gonna do a lot of thinking, a lot of brainstorm ideas. I really want to challenge you, all of you, to pay attention, to take notes, and to give me a feedback at the end. Give me a feedback and questions about if you want to clarify something, if you want to give me more advice or more ideas about a specific topic, please do so. This is the best opportunity that you will ever have to have an expert just for you for this next 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm here. As I said from the beginning, yesterday, I've been working in the sector and international business for 16 years. I've been working with many buyers from Canada and US at the same time, and I've been working with preparing companies and SMEs around the world for 16 years. I've been doing sourcing for companies, I've been doing sourcing for countries, I've been doing sourcing for buyers, and helping SMEs around the world. So take advantage, take my time, take the experience and the knowledge that I want to pass it on all on you. This is the time to help. This is the time. I believe this is the right time to do this. This is the time to innovate. You're going to hear me a lot of times talking about adapting. This is a time to adapt, to rethink about the direction that we are going as companies, as a human beings, and as a world. So let's go. Let's start. So entering the Canadian market. So yesterday we studied the stages to export. So basically, I divide them in three: stage 1, 2, and 3. Yesterday went over a little bit about stage 1. At this point, I know you're an SME. I know some of you are exporting to Europe. Some of you have no experience. So I gave you yesterday an idea of what is the stage 1. What do you need to do? You need to sit down and go to a checklist, what is the product that you're having, the capacity that you're having, the prices, the human resources. And the stage 2 is like, okay, now that I know myself, now that I understand my company, I need to create a market strategy. I need to research about, in this case, what is Canada about, where is located, what is the climate, what is the demographic, all those little details are not that little, because that makes a difference. You need to understand the market and create a strategy. So that was yesterday. Today we're going to go into the stage 3, which is the market entry. Okay, I already picture myself. I already know the market, how I am going to enter into this market. So if you see the line here, it's basically 1 year. This is being very optimistic, and you're gonna hear the SME at the end with the whole experience. And we already been working for a year with this SME, and we are in this stage right now. We're doing all of this right now. So it took 1 year to prepare, and right now we are working on the samples orders. We're working on prices again. We're going back and forth. So it takes at least 1 year. Being very positive. Sometimes it takes 1.5, 2 years. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of commitment to move forward. So entering the market, any market, you have 4 ways to enter the Canadian market: the direct export, the indirect export, the incorporating the business in Canada, and setting up a subsidiary in Canada. So direct exports is what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to help the SME, prepare the SME to export directly into the Canadian market. So without any in between, without any intermediate person, just directly producer, buyer, final consumer. So this is our ideal scenario. This is the second option that some of you already work with. You already have somebody like a middle person who buys directly in Ukraine and then goes to Europe and resell. That's a second option. We don't consider that an export. An export, it's directly from the SME to the market, and then you have to work with logistics and prices and paperwork. But the second option, you have no idea what's going on. You sell your products to one middle person at one price, and you have no idea where that garment is going and what kind of prices they're putting on it. So it's basically you're producing for somebody, and somebody is redoing the whole selling process. The third one is when you incorporate a business in Canada. That's a different a scenario. It requires a lot of effort regarding money and budget, and it's a strategy that is directly recommended for some companies, some big companies who want to incorporate the business here, or if you want to participate in a bidding for the government of Canada, you're producing, let's say, socks or t-shirts and you want to participate on biddings to provide to the public sector, let's say schools, hospitals, and also military, you need to incorporate your business in Canada and be able to, as a Canadian company, bid for the market, bid for the business. That's, as I said, every company has their own situation. Not everybody is treated the same way. When I approach the SMEs, I have to understand the SME, I have to understand the product, the capacity, the price range to create that entry marketing strategy. And the fourth one is setting up a subsidiary in Canada, which we're talking about a different angle. So it depends on your company, it depends of the level of budget that you guys have. It depends on the direction that the company wants to achieve. So those are the four ways to do it. When you come to Canada and you bring pieces of garments in your suitcases and you sell it to a friend, or you give it to a little store, or you go to a petite trade show, it's not considering an export. So keep in mind that sometimes I ask the companies, do you have an expert experience? And they refer to that. Yes, I sell into Canada with my cousin. My cousin comes every 6 months and I give her some dresses and pants and lingerie, and they go to Canada and sell it with friends. That's not an export. That is something very different. But when you talk about exports, you talk about those four different aspects and four different ways to bring the products back into the market. Now that you have that clear, let's talk about what influences a retailer. What is between 1 and 10, how do they make the decision? How do they, as a retailer, retailer, as a store, a place here in Canada. So you're gonna see that basically we're talking about prices. Excellent profit margin, 8.6. Exclusivity in the area, 8.2. And let's go previous sales successes, 8.1. Availability, cost again, design, supplier's reputation, and suggested retail price point. So we're talking about retail, right? We're talking about the retail that is going to sell directly to the final consumer. Keep in mind that this is something that was happening before the COVID, and now we're gonna talk about what's happening right now and the direction that the market is taking. So keep in mind that basically for Canadians and retail and final consumer buyer, they're talking and thinking always about prices. So now we're going to move to the toolbox. I love the toolbox because the toolbox is as it says, is a toolbox. You go to work and you have all your tools inside your box because you need them. If you're missing one, you're not gonna be able to complete your job. So in this case, everything it's more important than ever because we are working online. We are working through webinars, to web, to electronically emails. So for penetrate the market, to access a buyer, to communicate with the buyer, this toolbox is very, very important. In this toolbox, we have an English website, and I'm going to tell you later why. I'm going to show you how you communicate with buyers through an email. Then the business card, that's something that you have to give every time that you meet with a buyer. A presentation booklet, so that's your catalog. It has to be physical when you go at a meeting with a buyer, but it comes electronically when you present your company for the first time. The price list and FOB US, the prices are always quoted in US dollar right now is still the main currency. So every list with prices, it has to come with US. It cannot be like, okay, I'm gonna put the Canadian dollars and they do the conversion. It has to come with the US currency. The line sheet that we talked yesterday, product picture, the picture of the product, the quantity that you are, maximum quantity production, MOQs, minimum selling, production quantity, prices, time to deliver the orders, and that's what you have to present electronically and physically when you have a meeting with a buyer. Okay, do I have questions? I saw the chat. Olga, do I have any question?
Not so far, Maria.
Okay, because I saw a chat.
Yeah, it just was my reminder to the audience to print the questions and comments for you in our chat group.
Okay, perfect. So, how to find Canadian buyers. Everybody's looking for this. Everybody it's asking me this. Okay, Maria, you find the buyers because you've been in the market for so long. How do I do it? At this point, I already have my company ready. I already did my research of the market. I studied for 3 months. I do have everything under control, but I have no buyers. None at all. I don't know. I don't have any idea how to start to look for a buyer. So let's go back here. To find a buyer requires serious commitment on time, effort, and cost, and is often one of the most challenging steps for Ukrainian exporters. Finding a good agent or representative when you have another model for the Canadian market is crucial, and Ukrainian exporters should note that different agents may be required to cover separate regional areas of Canada because Canada is so big that one agent or rep is not going to cover the whole country. But when you have a rep, when you have an established business, especially when you are a designer, especially when you have a unique product that you want to penetrate, that you want to put into the Canadian market, that is going to take another direction rather than just in a store or negotiating with a direct buyer. So this is another format, but right now we're talking about the regular one that is, okay, your production, buyer, final consumer. So buyers look for you in trade shows. 98% of the time, the buyers go to the trade shows. At the end, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to leave you with the trade shows that the buyers visit. Catalogs, when you have catalogs to send to the buyers, I'm going to show you when you send the catalogs and how you send the catalogs. Through a sales rep, when you have a business that you need somebody here, that you are committed to this market and you have the economic and the budget potential to have a sales rep. So the rep is walking around and going to the trade shows, going to the meetings with buyers. Websites, important. You see 90% websites, you need to have the website in English. You need to have your information in English so you can send your website link and they will click on the website and have all your information ready. So the homework is already done on your side. Now it will be done by the buyer. And the LinkedIn. So that's something that I do very often. I go to the name of the company, Hudson Bay, Aritzia, Laura, and I click on that. Sometimes the information is there. Sometimes you have to pay an upgrade to get that information, and you have to understand every section here has a new buyer. Let's see, I am the buyer for dresses. Olga or somebody else is the buyer for socks. Somebody else is the buyer for pants. Somebody else is a buyer for coats. So we never have one only buyer. We have a head buyer or a head sourcing manager, and then comes all the buyers together. So when we face research, we need to understand that he's going to come up with 20 buyers, and you're going to look at the buyers and say which one is which one. So how I do it, I don't know them by face, I don't know them by name. Some of them I know them because they've been in the market for so long as well, like as me, but some of them I have no idea who's who. They change very often. One was the buyer here, now is the manager there, the manager there moved here. So I need to always be tracking them, following them. How do I do that? Sometimes I call the company and I have to tell a story about something. And I said, and I talked to, let's see, Martha, and who's calling, please? And I have to come up with a solid subject of my conversation, because I'm not gonna have the chance again. So basically what I do is I take the time to write something solid so I won't waste that opportunity. I will show you how do you open the door, but I will give you some examples at the end. So this is where you find, this is where the buyers find you, but basically this is where you have to be in order to find the buyers. I remember I wanted to get the buyers from Lululemon. Lululemon company is a well-known Canadian company for leggings and yoga wear and athletic wear, and they are located in Vancouver. So I remember many years ago, I was looking for the buyer, I was looking for the sourcing manager, and I couldn't get a hold on during that time on the phone. So I find out the trade show they were going, and it was going into London, UK. They were going to London, UK. I searched into the UK trade show and I registered myself. I traveled to UK and I met them there. It was not my company, it was just my job to be able to make the contact with the buyers. Once I made the contact with the buyers, then the communication keep going, because they know you by name, they know you by your experience, they know you by your products. So you need to be creative. Once again, you need to be thinking out of the box. It's not only a call, it's not only email. I know for you it won't be easier or easy at all to come here into Canada just to follow one buyer, but that shows the determination that you have in order to achieve the buyers that you want. It's not only get me buyers. Sometimes the companies come to me and said, I'm here, I'm ready, get me buyers, get me buyers. Sometimes you're not ready for that big buyer, you're not ready for that buyer, so you're losing that opportunity. So let's move forward, and I want to talk about what is to be ready regarding cultural differences, knowing what you can give and what you cannot give, knowing what the Canadian buyer are going to ask for you and from you, and knowing what kind of culture. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to make business with cultures that we don't understand, cultures that we don't know. And basically we want to identify with the buyer, identify us as a culture and professional business people. However, you need to keep in mind that in order to achieve the buyer, you have to keep in mind the cultural differences. So this is very important because I've been with some of you in the meetings, and of course, if you don't know the differences, you're gonna be like, what's happening here? Why he said that? Why he did that? Why he's not bringing the whole team? Why he's bringing the whole team? So sometimes back in your mind is like, okay, you have to be open. You have to think like this is a new chapter for you. This is a new challenge. This is something that you never done before. So you need to look, as I said yesterday, open your eyes, and you need to be aware of the differences. And on top of that, you have to be aware that it's not only the different culture with Canada, it's a different culture with two regions, the French one and the British one. Yesterday, we talked about that a little bit, how they behave doing business with the French province and with the British or Anglo culture, how they do business. Nadia from Genadine is going to give you a little bit of that experience, because she was here with buyers from Ontario, from the British part, and she was also in Montreal with buyers from Quebec, which is the French province, the French culture. So you're gonna see that difference, and you're not gonna understand, because I still don't understand many things from the Ukrainian culture, but you're gonna respect that, and you're gonna be knowing that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't work like you, it doesn't sound like you, it doesn't look like you. The business is the business. So this is very, very real. With all due respect, Ukrainians say the word no in negotiations 9 times more often than their Western counterparts. This is very important, and this is real. It's real by experience, and it's real by the research. And you have here the link of the where I get that information from. And it's been real for me when I am in the meetings with buyers and with some SMEs, and you come and every question that the buyer said or asked, immediately it's a no. For example, can you produce this in a different way? Can you give me an idea of this pants with stripes, with polka dots? No. Okay, so it's possible to have the same dress with a different material? No. Okay, what about prices? Are you giving me a $12 FOB per unit? Can we pull down a little bit? No. So when you say no to everything, or mostly everything, you're closing the doors. The meaning behind this is not to say yes to everything, because it will be vice versa. I have countries that is totally the opposite. They say yes to everything. Can you do this? Yes. Can you give me these pants with polka dots? Of course. Can you cut the length? Of course. Can you give me $10 less? For sure. And then at the end, nothing happened, because it's the opposite. It's not saying no to everything. It's not saying yes to everything. It's being honest and said, okay, listen, I cannot produce the pants with polka dots. However, I can do with a little lines, and it's going to look better because this. I cannot give you $13 or $12 as you asking me, because my sourcing is very expensive, and to produce this in $12, I'll have to lower the quality of the garment. However, I can give you $12.50. I'm gonna pull down the price 50 cents. So I'm happy. I hope you're happy. So it's a negotiation process. It's a trust business relationship, but you have to keep in mind that no, it's very difficult to work with. Sometimes, can we do this? Can we change this? Can you at least try to? No. And then after you work so hard preparing your company, after you work so hard knowing the market, after you work so hard coming to Canada and get the final meeting with the buyer, no. They will say very politely, okay, I really like your product. It was very nice to meet you. Please leave your brochures and your business card and your price list. And we talk another time, and it's not going to be a next talking. So keep in mind that even though the culture push you to respond in a certain way, you have to step back and think about your answer. It's a training process. You will learn to do it. It's always, I cannot do this. However, I can do this. I train my companies like that over and over and over again. Can you do this longer? No, but I can do this. I cannot give you a longer cardigan because my equipment doesn't, my machines, they don't work like that. However, I can give you a middle, a longer sweater. Always trying to find the solution. You are there to find solutions. They don't like companies that is so much work to do, because they need to move forward. They need to make the orders. They cannot spend forever. They cannot spend 1 year with you. They cannot spend three months with you. They need to move fast. So as keep in mind this, because it was very surprising for me when we got the meetings here. I didn't know about that. I didn't know it wasn't a specific issue, cultural issue. It's just, with all due respect, I don't criticize, but I'm telling you, it's going to stop you to pursue the business and to achieve the order. The next one regarding cultural differences is the communication process. Again, every time that I go to a new country, I try to listen to what people talk and how do the people talk, because at the end, how you talk is how you think. So if you go back and forth, if you turn around, if you go up and then you go down, that's the way you communicate. That's the way the thinking process goes behind of the communication. So this is a very straightforward chart that shows you how the Canadians communicate. So this is the communication process of a buyer. The buyer will be sitting with you front to front. She will be sitting in front of you. It's going to be an honest, open conversation. It's not gonna come with a lot of questions like, how's your family? What are you doing during the pandemic? How do you feel about it? It's gonna go like, how was your trip? How long have you been in Canada? Do you like Canada? Well, okay. So tell me about your company. Straightforward. It will be 1-2 questions to break the ice, and then very straightforward, they will go into the, what are you doing here? Show me what you have. You already achieved the meeting. Okay, put everything on the table. When I put everything on the table, I put my catalog. I give my, first of all, I give my business card. I put my catalog. I talk about my company, my achievements. I talk about my other customers. I sell to Poland and my customers in Poland. Mostly we will know anything about your customers in Europe unless they're huge in UK. Otherwise, any customer that you say from other country in Europe is going to be a surprise. We will know anything. However, you can say my customer in Poland is big and is very well known by quality. Then you have your line sheet, you have all your production, then you have your price list, and you have your swatches, and you have your samples. Very straightforward. Then you're gonna go back and forth with opinions, with questions. What are your challenges? How can you produce, where do you produce your fabric? Where is your fabric coming from? Okay, composition, okay. How much is your meter? And then they will ask you the technical questions relevant to the business. Then they will compromise for win-win. They will try to push you with prices down. They will try to give you the lower price. Let's say you're trying to sell a legging and your legging is $6. They will try to put you to $4. But that's when you come and said, I cannot give you for $4 my legging because this, and this. However, $6 is my right price, and it is the very fair price for both. Based on your quantity order, I can give you $5.57, 595. That changed the game. Just little details. Then the action plan and the clarity to act. They won't do anything with you if they're not very understanding your business and very clear about who you are and what do you offer. Because remember, you're going to be a new supplier and you have to compete with all suppliers and new suppliers coming. But keep in mind that this is not going to take forever in the meeting, thinking and go back. And then what about this? And what about, it's going very linear. It's very useful for you to know that step by step, they're going to take you further, unless they stop the process and they say, you know what, I think your products are very nice, but you're very expensive for me. My price range is this. And in that sense, you need to know the company. You need to know your buyer. You need to open and say, listen, I was in your store yesterday and I saw that you had products for Turkey, and I'm competing with Turkey in this kind of category, but I do have this option for you. Done. It is business. It is knowing your company and knowing their company. So keep in mind the way you think. I was looking into this book. This is a book, a very interesting book that I have. And I was looking to find the Ukrainian way of thinking. I couldn't find anything. It was not in the book. However, it was some countries around. I didn't want to put it there because it was not Ukrainian, and I wasn't sure that it was offended for you if I compare your way of thinking with Russia, with Poland, with the UK, whatever. I wasn't very comfortable about, because I didn't want to offend anybody. But when I saw the way of thinking from European countries like Ukraine, like Poland, like Russia, they were doing this, like circling. It wasn't lineal, it was circle. So you go back and forth, you say no, you say no, you say no. So I apologize that I don't have the Ukrainian thinking, because I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked for a lot of time around, and as I said, I only found other countries around Ukraine, but I didn't want to put it there because it's not Ukraine. I know your culture is unique. I know the way of thinking is unique. I know that it's a unique country and a beautiful and productive and very strong country to move forward. That's why you don't have Ukraine days, but you have Canada. Canada, linear, is not going back, it's not turning up, it's not turning down, it's not right or left, it's all linear process. So having said that, we go to this. Very simple. Do you speak English? No, I don't. Okay, so how we're gonna communicate? Right now, you have the support from a team from Cuties, and you have the support from people, but at one point, we're not gonna be there. So how do you making sure that somebody else is gonna take over, or you're gonna take over your business, you're gonna be able to communicate with the buyers? You need to have at least one person that is gonna be your communicator with the buyer. So English, it's a must. It's not like maybe I speak a little bit, because you're gonna be talking to the buyer, and the buyer needs to know that once he sends an email, you're gonna understand the email and you're gonna reply in English. That they're gonna send you the specs, they're gonna send you everything, the configuration of the product, and you're gonna be able to understand, and you're gonna be able to reply. So this sounds like, okay, this is obvious, but believe me, it's not that obvious. I know you're learning. I love your country because it's like booming, it's like opening to the world, it's like a flower that is coming out in spring. So this is the time to give opportunity for you to speak English, to learn English. If you don't speak English, get somebody who speaks English next to you if you want to achieve any North American market, because this is the language. They're not going to learn Ukrainian, they're not going to learn a different language. You have to learn. So give me 1 second. The other aspect that I want to mention is the expectations. We all come to a new business with expectations. So it's realistic to have expectations, but you have to be realistic expectations. Business takes time. Once again, the companies come to me and said, I did this, I have the research, I have the strategy. Where is the business? Okay, now we come to take time. It takes time to build the business relationship with the buyer. It takes time for you to know them and for them to know you. It's not only you know them, they need to know you, because they're going to put a lot of time and money in your business. So they need to have time to know you, and they're going to test you. Sometimes people said Canadians are same as Americans. They're not. So I go with a buyer to buy with around the world, and the way they conduct business is pretty different than the Canadians conduct business. So Canadians tend to be quieter, slower, and more taking precautions. So they take time. They take their own time. It's like, do not push me. I always laugh at that, because he said it's like, do not push me, do not rush me, do not force me to move faster. This is my pace. So I love this picture because it's very what I'm trying to say. Please wait, relax, cool down. Like the new generation said, chill out, stop, don't push me. The things are going to happen, but give me time. And also understand that when I say let's go, you have to be ready. Now they're asking you to move fast. Oh, but you said, but Maria, I was waiting for the reply for 3 months. Now I give my reply, they're asking me to reply in 2 days. Yes, it's like that. Those are the rules of the game. You have to wait, but they don't wait for you. You have to wait for them, they don't wait for you. But be patient. Patience is a key element, not only for business, for everything in life. So no business happens fast. The goal is to establish a long-lasting business relationship, not a one-time sale. So sometimes you come, you do the business once, you take one order, small, big, whatever, just once, and that's it. We don't want that. I want you to succeed in this market. I want to give you opportunities that you take advantage, and 10 years from now, 2 years from now, and so on, I can talk to you and you guys said, I'm still selling to this buyer. I am a real sourcing, and I'm a real producer for this buyer. I'm still doing business after 5 years with this buyer. So please keep in mind that don't get frustrated. I know it's hard. Believe me, I know it's hard. I work with them. I work in the past for them. So it's like, okay, I gave them all the information. Maria pushed me so hard in 3 days to prepare everything. I sent them, but no answer. They will send to you, thank you. I will communicate with you as soon as I check the material. And then you start calling me next day, Maria, and they're still asking me, Maria. And I said, you have to wait. You have to wait and slow down, keep working. Don't worry, they're gonna reply. So don't super stress out. They will take time. They will test you in time and patience. So this is not like I said, a speed challenge. This is a patience and a steady challenge. So the next one is, again, the size of the order. Sometimes I see your faces. I can read. That's why it's so difficult for me to talk right now, because I see my face and I don't see anybody's face. So if I've been here in front of you, I will be reading your faces. I can read faces and I can understand the frustration when you come here and after all, so much work, 8 months working, preparing, and the orders are 100 units. And you come and said, Maria, 100 units? It's nothing, but this is the beginning. I keep telling them, I can tell you, it's the beginning. And remember, buyers here are not that big that the US or maybe Europe. So they're going to ask for 100 and 300 units. So this is the niche that we have to keep in mind, because when they talk with Asia, when they work with Asia, and specifically China, Bangladesh, and Vietnam, it's about quantities. So how do I present your companies, and how do I present the opportunities for the Ukrainian market? Is through quality, knowledge, and capacity. So capacity for me, it's a big plus from you. Not everybody around the world can produce 300 or 600 units. You have to have a very structured SME. Sometimes I give you the buyer, and the buyer asks you for 100 units at the beginning, and you guys said, no, I cannot do 100 units. I need at least 50,000 units. And I'm like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Not from the beginning. So once again, patient, steady steps, and be aware that at the beginning, it's not gonna happen very fast. Some of the companies have already production compromised. That I find another challenge from the Ukrainian companies. You sell very well locally, but you only have 25% for international markets, and sometimes those markets are Europe. So keep in mind that if you wanna come to Canada, it has to come with a space for international production that you can achieve 100, 300, 600, 1,500 units, and so on. The relationship is going to build in time. It's not going to happen once. You're going to have Nordstrom, and Nadia from Genadine is going to tell you the experience from buyers. One coat, one sweater, sample order, 50 pieces, then a trial order, 100 pieces, then a real order, 600 pieces, then the second order, 1,500 pieces, and so on, and so on, and so on. As I said, it takes time, and they need to build the business relationship. They need to build trust. Everything is based on trust and commitment. If you have a problem in production, don't hide the problem. Don't let them know at the end. Tell them in the middle, in the beginning, listen, my equipment, it's broken. I don't find the solution right now, but if you give me time, I will respond. So it's always trusting and knowing that the other side is there to help you as well. See the relationship as a long-term relationship. Don't see it as a one-time opportunity that you take advantage, and go away, and that's it. Don't do that, because you're gonna miss the opportunity once again that you work already so hard. So as I said, do not give up if you feel like you are in the right track. Meanwhile, I work with my companies from Ukraine. I am standing in the back. I'm holding them, but I also sometimes I'm in the front leading them. At one point, I'm not going to be there, but I'm giving all the support, all the knowledge and experience, and all the correct advices so they can prepare to walk by themselves. So don't give up. For if something that I don't see going well, if something that you're feeling is not correct, you can talk to the buyer and say, listen, I give you this price before, and the situation changed. My sourcing is raising prices, and I don't know how to keep your price on the same spot. It's killing me at this point. Can we renegotiate? That's something that you can do. And they will say, listen, we are in the middle of the production. How much you have to raise the price? 25 cents. Okay, we can afford that. Keep moving. But it has to come with a long-term commitment. It has to come with a mindset that you are willing to talk and are willing to adapt, change, and produce for them. Same thing for them. You will be new for the buyers, so they will be able to spend a little bit of time, not too much time, but a little bit of time explaining you what are they expecting, or what the expectations are, what the prices are, and so on. So keep in mind again that this is not about speed. This is about sustainability. This is about commitment. This is about trust. So once you build that, believe me, it's like marriage. You will last for a long time if you can work in and you got into the marriage with a mindset that is going to be forever. If you get into the marriage that is going to be for a couple days or a couple months, a couple years, it's going to happen. But if you build the relationship with the buyers, that they can continuously supporting you and giving you business, this is a win-win situation. Buyers are not here to take advantage of you. Some will try to do it. This is not a perfect world. This is not, they're not saints like, oh, we do everything right, or they do everything right. They will take it. Some of them, they will try to take advantage, but mostly the buyers that I know, they are very professional, and they will let you know that the price, it will be too high, too low quality. They won't take advantage because it doesn't take, it's not smart to do that. They will lose the contact, and they have to keep looking for more. Believe me, to look for a new supplier takes as well 1 to 2 years. This doesn't happen. So they don't want to spend time, and they need to produce results, right? They need to make sure that they have the right supplier to produce for their companies, because they are, at the end, they're sourcing managers or buyers. They have goals on top of them as well. So long-term commitment is a key. And how do you overcome the challenges? Okay, Maria, we have so many challenges. This is a nice way to do it. We train, we coach, we do learning, we do the research, everything that we present and under the Cuties program is going to be posted. So you keep learning about the market, you keep learning about opportunities, you keep improving yourself, you keep challenging your company. It's very easy to settle. But when things like this happen with the COVID-19, it's like when you're playing chess on the table, and then you have all your parts together, all your little pieces together, and you know exactly when they're gonna be moving forward, and then suddenly the table is shaking. It has been shaken. You need to reconsider again everything, because you don't find the game again the same way it used to be. So learn a lot, take coaching, take workshops, do exactly what you're doing right now. Take advantage of every little piece of information that the project is giving you as well, like internet is giving you, and so on. So, any questions so far?
Yes, Maria, we have several questions.
Okay.
So one is, you said in order to participate in public procurement in Canada, you need to register a company here, but Ukrainian companies are already de jure able to participate in the public procurement market in Canada. Are there any nuances here?
What? Say that again. I'm sorry, Olga. What?
That's question. Okay,
what is the question again?
Regarding public procurement in Canada. So are there any nuances here, any specific things that Ukrainian producers have to know about that?
Oh, when you want to bid for public companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, everything is online. That will be something that you can check online. But one of the main obstacles that I always find with international companies, international sourcing, is that they have to establish a company here. So you have to register your business here, you have to have an address, and you have to go online to do a step-by-step the bidding. It's like you register your company, there's some qualifications that your company has to have. And for example, sizing, for example, human rights, there's a lot of qualifications that you have to have in order to apply for the bidding. Once it's like applying for visa. You need a picture, you need a passport, you need this, you need that, okay, same thing. They have a checklist. You need to check that list and say, okay, I'm gonna create my company back in Canada. I do have a rep, I do have this, I do have that. I have my requirements for human rights because it's gonna be governmental buying. So it has to come with a lot of certificates. I do have the quality certificate. I have the ISO 9000 ready, I have this. It depends of the garment. It depends of the area that they're gonna bid for. But basically you will be bidding here. You will like a local Canadian company sourcing from Ukraine in this case. So what it takes in consideration, it's here. So it's basically a Canadian company sourcing directly from Ukraine. So it is a process, it's not impossible. I've been doing it with another companies from other countries, and it's a long process because of the paperwork, but it's something that you can, if you produce, let's say, socks and uniforms, and keep in mind that the bidding is not every year, it's every 3 to 4 years. So once, let's see, you gain the bidding, you got the business, they're gonna be with you for 3 to 4 years. And the next bidding for that specific product will be again 3 for 4 years. No, it's not a continuously thing. It has to be cut off. So every 3 to 4 years, there will be called for bidding again. So let's see, my experience has been with socks and men underwear, and also towels for hospitals, towels for all kind of public industry. And it was a long process because of the paperwork, because of the checkbook that we have to collect. We have to get the certifications, we have to get the human rights certification, the inspection of the factory. It came with a lot of ads, but at the end we got the socks. We didn't get the towels, we got the socks and the men underwear. And as I said, it was every 3 years. The second time they apply for the bidding, they didn't get it. So it doesn't mean you're gonna have it forever. It means that for 3 to 4 years is everything is good and you're producing good and you're delivering on time, everything is the same. You will be able to have the business for 3 to 4 years. But at the 3rd or 4th year, depending on the bidding characteristics, is going to come up again to another one. So you have to replace again the old bidding and compete with the new sourcing. As I said, it's a very it's not an static business. Apparel, I believe, is one of the most moving and changing markets because of everything: prices, sourcing, materials, fashion. It's always moving. One is what worked yesterday, it may not be working tomorrow. So for bidding with the government and with public services, it has to come with a process. It's public, it's nothing behind, it's nothing under the table, it's everything on the table. You will see it online. If you go, let's see, for RCMP, and you go, and it's very, very easy. You go to public bidding, RCMP products, and then you see the list of products if they're looking for something right now, or they're not looking, and the biddings, where the biddings are going to happen. So that's what it is.
Okay, a couple more. Thank you, Maria. A couple more questions regarding the buyers. When you talking about buyer, Canadian buyer, do you mean the purchasing manager of the company or Canadian importer? And the second question regarding buyers, what do you think for a huge buyer in Canada? What is the volume they usually expect from a supplier?
Okay, the first one, where we talk about buyers, I'm talking about the sourcing manager or the buyer from a specific store in Canada. So I'm talking about mostly, let's see, like I said, like the example that I showed you yesterday, Laura, for example, Tristan Canada, it's a company owned by a family, so they have 168 stores in Canada. So I'm talking about those kind of buyers because those are the buyers that we're working right now. When I'm talking about buyers, I also talk about the head of the sourcing. They are different ways that they do source. Either they have a sourcing office back in their companies and they send the buyers to buy. Either they hire a sourcing company from outside. Let's see, I am the sourcing office and I do have 10 more employees, and they hire my company and I do the sourcing for them, so they don't have to pay employees directly from their company. They come with another sourcing companies from outside, so they are subcontracting people, so they can hire me. If I had a sourcing company with my 10 employees, I take over Asia, another one takes over Africa, another. So they send them through the sourcing company. Or what they do is they can directly hire an importer. That's what you said. An importer is a person who bring the products, but is not the final buyer. Companies that we're working with and we're trying to achieve is the one that has a sourcing company inside their facilities and people working for them, and they are the importers directly. So they deal with you, they negotiate with you, and they do the importation of the product directly. Your responsibility is production and put your product in a port. Either it's an airport, either it's a seaport, and that from then the buyer directly takes over. And then they bring the products to the facility, and they distribute the products to the 168 stores. So I don't know if that's the specific question. I don't know if that clarifies the question.
I hope so. Thank you, Maria. We will see the group chart. We will monitor that.
And
one more specific question from our participating company, who is a really small company with only 7 employees, and they producing handmade lingerie, and they asking if there any sense in your opinion to move and to explore Canadian market for them, or it would be just a waste of time?
Well, I don't think it's a waste of time. It depends of, see, that's a very interesting. Now it's clicking everything that I'm saying. So that means that I have my company, I am the owner, I have 7 employees. Maria is talking about 300, 600. Regarding the minimum quantity, that was before the question, what is the quantity? So a big company, considering a big company here, is gonna ask you for 20,000 to 30,000 pieces, something like that. But it can be more than that. For example, we have an order for 10,000 pieces, and that was the beginning. We can have that. We can have 10,000 pieces for the beginning and then move to 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pieces. It depends on the product, because if we talk about socks, we're talking about quantity like crazy, but it's not because it's a big quantity, it's because we're talking about a pair of socks. But it depends on the product, but basically we're talking about 20,000 to 50,000 pieces, no more than that, for a big buyers. So it depends on the size of your company, and depends on the production capacity that you have as a company. For a company, a small, like a petite company, a very small SME with 7 employees, the strategy will be very different. It won't be anything like getting directly to the buyer, get the buyer from a big, as I said, big, considering the market here. It may not be big for you, it may not be big for the US, but for this market, it's considering big. It doesn't make any sense. So the idea is not a waste of time, it's not a waste of energy to try to conceive your business. Let's see, I only produce, I don't know, 100 bras or 100 garments per week. half of that is for my local market, half of that I can sell it into Canada. So in order for you to do that, the strategy will be pretty different. You will be either go directly to small boutiques, and that will be a kind of business. And then you will say, okay, I sell 20 pieces here, 20 pieces here, and 10 pieces here. That's my 50 pieces per week. I cannot do more than that. So what you have to ask yourself is, once you have that strategy, it is worth it for you regarding return of the money, return of the effort you put in this business. If it's you said to me, Maria, listen, to sell to Canada, it takes over my energy, it takes over my budget, it takes over my business. To produce for Ukraine, it takes only 2 people to do it and to sell it and to redistribute. To do business with Canada is going to take too much effort, but I won't say it is a waste. I will say it is an exercise. You can exercise before jumping. That's my next slide. I love this slide because everybody laugh at me when I tell my companies, check the swimming pool has water before you jump in it. Everybody run into it's summer, finally, no more winter. Put on the swimming suit and jump into the swimming pool. Put on the swimming suit and jump. And we don't have water. So every time, just look at the pros and the cons regarding starting a new business. So that question that she's asking me, or he's asking me, is like 7 employees. I'm not gonna tell you it's a waste until you do the diligence, you do everything and said, okay, Maria, you know what? It took me some days, some weeks, some hours to understand that in order for me to export, the only way I can do it is through what is true, because I'm a very petite SME. I only have the opportunity with a boutique. Boutiques for me are not gonna work because they're asking me this, they're asking me that. So it's not gonna be a waste if you don't try. What I said, wasting is when you said, I am producing something that the Canadian market doesn't need. That's a waste. If you are producing, I don't know what product that we don't buy here, like it's a waste if you come and try to sell something that nobody's gonna like. It's like when you come here and you said, Maria, I don't see this kind of skirts. Why don't we sell them? And I asked them, why do you see them? It's a reason behind. There's no market for those kind of skirts. So you have to keep in mind that the offer has to be aligned with the demand. So it will be a waste of energy, time, money, if you have a product that you want to put it into the market that is not going to succeed. It's not because the market is not asking for that. But if you have a product that you already did the research and you said Canada, and I'm going to show you an example of how you do that. Canada is looking for this. I do have the product, but I only have 7 employees. How do I get the market? How do I get there? Okay, I'm going to create my strategy. How it's going to be? I'm going to work only with, I'm going to identify the area, let's say in Toronto, with the small boutiques that sell that kind of product. Once I identify them, I'm going to contact them directly, and so on, and so on, and so on. But I won't say, asking you a question, I won't say it will be a waste unless the product is not a suitable one for Canada. So keep in mind that you have to check the water in the swimming pool. If you don't research, you don't understand the market, you will be failing. You will be jumping into the water and start swimming and no water. I keep telling that to my companies over and over and over again. And now they understand why. At the beginning, they look at me like, this woman is crazy. This woman has no idea what she's talking about. This woman is talking nonsense. But then when they come into the market and start dealing with the market, they said to me, you were right. We jumped into the water and it was no water. So that's why this seminar is so important, because it's giving you the tips, it's giving you the clues, it's giving you the tools to do the research, to understand your company, to understand the market, and then jump into the water. You know what? It's enough water. It's good enough for me. I'm going to jump in it. So I hope this responds to the question, Olga.
Yes, Maria, I hope so. Thank you very much. And there is some comments regarding the government procurement. That some government bidding requires security clearance. That's from personal experience.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
It comes with a lot of, as I said, lots of work behind. Because especially when it's a government buying, it comes with certificates and clearance, and it comes with, as I said, they're going to come a layer with gender and environmental issues. It's not impossible. I have done it. It's not impossible. It takes lots of time, lots and lots of time, and somebody dedicated just for that business, and making sure that if you don't get it, you don't get it, because it's a bidding. At the end, they will reply to you and say, thank you, but we already select a different company, and everything is public. So you will be able to see who was your competitor, and you will be able to see the amount, what you didn't get it. Basically, they will respond to you. We didn't get it because of this and this and this.
Yes, and sometimes there is also common that sometimes government wants to the products environmentally certified as well.
That's
so
what I
thank
said.
you for
Yeah,
that comment.
no, they come with all kind of things. Yeah, they come with security, with the ISO. They come with the weapon free. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. And the gender now with Mr. Trudeau, I believe is a plus. It's something additional, and of course, environmental certificates. Of course, you have to have the inspection ready. They won't do it, but you have to hire a third-party inspection entity to do it, so you can show that all the certificates are aligned, on time, and updated. As I said, it's not impossible, but it took us like a year and a half to get all the paperwork. And then after 3 years, they apply again and they didn't get it. So it's just something that you have to know that it's going to be only for 3 to 4 years. But if something that you want to, you have to do it. So another question, comments?
That's all fine. Thank you, Maria.
Okay. So find your niche is another one that it comes with everything that we're talking about. Canadians know about the Ukrainian production. Canadians know that Ukraine was a very well-known country regarding apparel. Every time that I talk about Ukraine to a buyer, they always said, oh, our company used to have business 20 years ago with Ukraine, but something happened. Everything stopped. Now, I said, now they're reopening and they are opening business for Canada. And they all said quality is amazing. Construction of the garments are amazing. The sense of design is amazing. And it's not like a new country to them. It's not like I'm talking about a country that you never heard before. Yeah, I'm talking about the sourcing that you have to take a risk to know. They know about your company, about your country and your production capacity. So they are willing to work. We need to, once again, consider the work, as I said before, as an investment. Consider to find a niche, like where is my product going to be? The companies that we have, Canada is sourcing from mostly from China and from US, Vietnam. So those are the competition regarding sourcing, but those are not our competitors in this case, because we're not competing with them regarding MOQs, capacity of production. We're competing with other countries like France, like US. We're competing with the US, and we're competing with Canada as well, because Canada, the tendency is to produce more here. The French companies are producing more in France. They're spending more time and money in the French market. Sometimes those are the niches that we're trying to achieve. Let's see, the coats they're producing in Montreal. It is, let's see, $35, and we're trying to achieve the same quality, the same construction of the garment with a better price. That's an ad that they will change from Canada to Ukraine as a supplier. So find your niche, find where your product is going to be placed, where did you see the products, who is your competitor regarding the same kind of garments. If you produce sweaters, who's your competitor around Europe that is producing for Canada? So understanding what your niche is, where you have to be, not only because you like one company. Oh, I love Lululemon. I hear that very often. I love Lululemon. I want to be there. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the beginning. And then it's not because you like Lululemon. It's not because you love Lululemon. It's because you have the capacity to produce for Lululemon. It's because your product is suitable for Lululemon. It's because your the price range that you offer, it's the one that Lululemon is looking for. It's not like because I like Lululemon. It's a good start. I like Lululemon too, but if my products are not suitable because my quality is not there, or my prices are too high, or my prices are too low, so Lululemon will be a dream, and you will be so disappointed, and you will resign to the business, and you will be, being so tired that you give up. And that's your experience with Canada, because you didn't do the first two steps: studying the market, finding your real niche. You said Lululemon is a must. Someday I will be there. Right now, these are three other options. These are my niches. I'm going to keep working with them. So business connection, the free trade agreement is a plus. I want to highlight that. I've been working with many countries, and the free trade agreement from Ukraine is a very open, straight, and how do I call, generous, because it gives you a lot of opportunity. When I said free trade agreement with Ukraine, the buyers go like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to show you how I present the one company in my emails and the free trade agreement at the same time together. So they will click company, free trade agreement, less money, do it. Okay. So the next one, time to sell. Finally, you have done your two previous steps. You identify your competition, you identify your potential buyer, and you want to, okay, Maria, I am ready to write an email. I am ready to connect with the buyer. So I'm going to stop here. And I'm going to go and look for my email. This is going to tell you something. How do I do it? How do I present you? It comes with a lot of writing skills and creativity skills to be able to connect with the buyer. So this is a very straightforward communication with buyers. It comes with, I am going to invite them to visit you at the trade show. It's not an easy target because the trade show it's big, and they don't have to go. They already have planned where to go. They're going to visit China booth and the Indian booth and the Turkey booth, and we are such a small booth, and we're going to be first time ever in Canada. So this is what is relevant here. So I did some creativity art there, and then creative part, and then I introduced the country. And this is what I want to highlight here. Okay, but it comes with more additional information because I'm doing this through Global Affairs and through Cuties program. So it comes with that idea. But first of all, I look into the Ukrainian country and I give them the opportunity to see Ukraine as another source of production and sourcing, as another new country for them to look at it. So you see, it's very straightforward. It is talking about the Cuties, the CAFTA free trade agreement. It gives the buyer the opportunity to connect with something. I create the interest first. First, I create the interest. I said, okay, we do have a free trade agreement going on between the two countries. I want you to take advantage of that. And then I talk about the companies. Then I talk about, okay, I do have, and I'm gonna do it as this is my company. So I'm gonna do like, for example, okay, I'm never explain, I never start with my name is Maria, I am a consultant. I never do that. I always go with an open door that shows the buyer something to catch up, because they open the emails from 100 other sourcing prospects, and they're always the same. Dear buyer, my name is, my company is, I am willing to work for you. La 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 la. They delete. They don't even read it. Is basically the person who reads the emails is the assistant, the personal assistant or the office assistant. So this is what it is. I try to open my email with something that is catchy, something that is, I know they're looking for. They're looking for price, right? Good prices. So I'm going to open my email with a free trade agreement. This is showing them that we can have the price. Why? Because we don't have the tax on the duty. We don't have the duty price on top of my price. Sometimes China has 18%, 22% on top of the price. We don't have that. So in order to create that open door, I present Ukraine as a new country with a very positive opportunity in their hand, which is the CUFTA, Free Trade Agreement. Okay, I didn't know that. The buyers come to me and said, oh, I didn't know. Well, Ukraine has a free trade agreement with Canada. Yes, we do. Okay, I opened the door. First of all, dear buyer, Ukraine has blah, 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 blah. And then it comes to me. My company has the following products for your company. It's not like a random email that I wrote. It is like, my company produces this kind of products suitable for your company. Here you will find the website, my information for you to contact me. That's it. That's it. Sometimes I add the price list. If I find like the price list is very close to their prices, if they're too far away, I don't add the price list, because the price list will kill the interest. They will see, okay, my prices are too high. They're not gonna talk to me ever. So sometimes if the prices are good enough, because I already did the research, I send them the prices electronically with the line sheet. But if the prices I feel are still too high, I won't do it. I will create the interest first, so they can click in my website, they can look into my website and say a couple of examples of what products I have that you can look for. So once again, let's go back. I'm gonna stop here and let's go back to my companies here. Where are they? Maybe here, no, here. Share. Once again, I'm gonna look for, I'm talking with, this is my target company. This is the company I want. So I've been already searching around the website, searching about what the company is about, where they're located, how many stores they have, how is the production, what kind of looks they have. So if you have this, you said, okay, I'm getting a whole idea about what kind of products and looks they offer. Okay, and then I go and see, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And then that's why I target my buyer. And I go, I have this, and this is specific product for you, for your company, not for the whole company, not for the whole market, not for whole Canada, just for Tristan. That's a personal email. The mistake that I see from sourcing is they sell like a massive email that said, dear buyer, my name is Maria Guzman. I work for this company. This company, la 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 la, and the buyer immediately delete the email. Dear company, let me introduce you to Ukraine. Ukraine, done, and then you talk about Ukraine in the free trade agreement, you open the door, this still you have the attention of the buyer, and then you jump into my research on your company show me that this product, the product category that I offer for you, it can be a very suitable for your company. Here's my link, here's my price list, here's my line sheet. I hope to hear from you soon. Regards, Maria, and all my contact information. That's it. And you saw it here when I show you. Visit us, or I'm not going to say visit me because they cannot visit me, but contact me, my email, my phone number, and all the links, everything electronically. Again, if you're ready with a good website in English, very clear, very straightforward, your product category, your pictures well done, your all the information there about your company, and even though you can mention in the email, I am currently producing for US, Europe, and Asia. That's it, and that's it. You open the door. Then it comes the follow-up. And the follow-up, they will reply to you. Thank you very much for your email. They will reply even a template. At this point, we're not interested in looking for any sourcing, or they will ask you for more. Or they will forward the email to the correct buyer. So it's very tricky because it takes time. Sometimes they don't reply and you get so anxious. So then you call. And then you call and said, good morning. That's what the time that you have to call the company from the website. Because believe me, I never bought, I bought at the beginning directories with the names and the contact information. But when I called them, it was updated, it was not updated. It was the person already resigned and went to another company. So it was a waste of money. Sometimes those directory cost like a $300, $500, and then you ended up doing nothing with them. So what I do is I call the company and I said, listen, I work for this, I'm doing this, I need please transfer me to the buyer. And they transfer me, I get the answer machine, and that's when I have 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 minute, 50 seconds to talk about my company. Done. I do have this. My product category is this. I really like to talk to you. Please give me a call back. So you have to always open the communication with something good for them. It's about them. It's not about you. It's about them. You have to let them know that they are important for you. It's about them. I visited your store. I found your products very interesting. My line is pretty suitable for you. I have very competitive prices, and I am producing in Ukraine, which has a free trade agreement with Canada. I would really like to talk about opportunities with you in the future. Please give me a call. Done. and then we call you. And if they don't call you, you do it again. You do it again. But you don't do it every day. You wait at least 3 to 4 days, call it again. Send them an email again. Hello, I am following up on my message 3 days ago, or my email a week ago, and so on. But it's not gonna be like a pushing. Like I said before, do not push me, don't push me. Don't come with ideas. You see, I give them a little bit. It's like you are inviting somebody to a party, and you let them know what's going to happen in the party, but you don't let them know so much that they get bored. And I said, they just let them know, listen, I have fitness clothes. I have this, I have casual wear. I have to give them, you see how short it is for me? Just a little something and click, you get the information. Okay? Questions?
Yeah, there is a reminder, Maria. Yesterday you talked about the websites where
Yeah. That's at the end. That's at the end. I still have
okay,
like
because
8.
people ask you about
No.
these
At
websites.
the end.
Okay.
At the end. At the end.
Uh,
I haven't finished yet.
then there is a
Mm-hmm.
okay. So then the question, how it's possible to get in contact with you? And is it was a real contact on your email, your real contact details on your email?
What do you? Yeah, my real contacts are in the email. Yeah.
So is it possible to contact you directly?
This is an like I don't understand the question. It is possible to contact me as a buyer, like when I send the emails and I put my contact information. It's my real information, so they can contact me, right?
No. I think our participants ask if it's possible to contact you if they have some questions. Can they contact you directly?
Okay, we're going to talk about that because it's through the Cuties program, right? So it will be through your office first. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, it will be through your office first, because we need to, at the end, I'm going to let them know that we need to take advantage of this. So let's see more profiles, right?
Okay.
Okay, so my almost last advice or last suggestion and recommendation is to be ready for expo activities like visiting the country, visiting in all the participate in international trade shows. So I have 3 main ones. There is the Sourcing Magic in Las Vegas, the one that is in Hong Kong, and there is another one in Toronto. So I would like you to take a look when we finish, go to the websites. Right now, everything is on hold. Right now, we're not talking about, imagine to go to Hong Kong right now. It's not gonna be possible. But Shanghai, this is the Shanghai one. It's not gonna be possible. It's not gonna be possible to go to Hong Kong either. So this is like before the COVID, and now after the COVID, we need to talk about that. So I know we're not gonna have too much time. We do have time? Yeah. No, we do have still time. Sorry. So let's move to the links. Yeah. So yesterday you asked me about where do I look for market research? Where do I find some information? And I put together this information here, and I'm gonna go one by one. So if I can do it. So this is one. The first one is this one. This is one. Luxury apparel market in Canada. This is before the COVID, okay? This is before COVID into 2023 report. you're gonna have all this information. You have it in the link. This is where I look for the market behavior. It gives you an idea where the market is moving forward. This is luxury because you as a country have a production for this market, even though the brand names are very difficult to establish as designers, but this is where you have all the information. So I invite you to look around the website and have information about the market, especially talking about brands. We also have another one that is this is the main one for me, the Canadian Apparel Federation. I am not a member. However, you want to become a member, you just register yourself. But I received the information because I registered myself to receive the emails. So here you have everything regarding the tendency right now, made in Canada products, everything, sourcing in Miami, sourcing in different countries, webinars that sometimes I participate in the webinars to know more about like what's going on right now. Everything is mask masking, like making masks and making garments for doctors. You see all this information it's online. So this is another one that I use to look for a buyer. I go here. No, I don't go here. I go here. This is the government page that I want you to take note on this one, because we're going to do an exercise and we're going to find if this product is suitable for the Canadian market. So you go to this website, you're going to have it in the presentation, is pasted, and then you go to search or browse for product. You put your product here, you write your product here. It is basically, let's see, woman pants in natural fiber, and it comes up. For me, it's easier that I know the HS codes. The codes for me are 6104, and then I'm gonna go with 610439, which is the one I'm gonna work today. I know them by memory, so it's not like if you don't know them, yeah, the Chamber of Commerce can help you to find the HS code from your product, but you have the HS code once you know the category of your product. So for example, my category is women, girls, jackets, blazers, and of other textile materials, knitting and crochet. This is basically everything. So this is my category of product. I'm going to check on this one. And this is the size of the market concentration. Then it comes answering the question that you asked me. How big is the market? The orders, how big they are. Look at here. $8 million in total. Canada import from this market, this product. $8 million. And you say, wow, that's huge. I will say, no, it's not that big. It's not that big. So you said, well, Maria, if I want to get a little piece of this chunky piece of the cake, how do I have to do? Now you come here. These are the importers. These are the importers here. They give you the name. They don't give you the contact, of course, because the contacts are not public, but they give you the name. This is where you find the buyers, or at least the name of the companies that can buy this kind of product. Okay? Let's do another one. So let's do this one. So let's see who's buying this. And then you had Alfie Apparel Group. So you go to Google, Google this company, where it's located in Quebec. Okay, now how big it is. Then you find out that it's a little boutique or it's a big store, but $8 million in women and girls jackets and blazers. But let's see another one. Let's go back. And let's do 61032. Cotton. The other ones were other materials. This is cotton. This is women, girls, jackets and blazers of cotton. Okay, let's see the size of the market. It's even smaller. See, $7 million. Who are the importers? These are the importers. Adidas, this name from Alberta. This one is a code, Canada Inc. You see, this is how I find the buyers for you. Then I go to, oh, Amazon. Okay, let's see Amazon. How do I get into Amazon? I said, let's go another one. Oh, boutique chamomile. Okay, boutique chamomile. And then I go to internet, look for the boutique, look for the style, and it helps me, it doesn't help me. It doesn't set the size of the buying, because it's not, they're not gonna tell you how much this boutique buys some cotton coats and jackets from girls and women, but it tells you that chamomile import from some places, jackets in cotton, knitting for girls and women. This is what I do daily. I keep this daily on my computer, looking for a potential buyer for you. This is what I do. Then I go and click. Okay, let's start with the easy peasy ones. Toronto, because they're here. Maybe I can go and visit them. Maybe I can have a talk with the owner. Maybe I can have a talk with the people on the floor. And that's how I do it. And then, okay, no, Toronto, they're buying too little. And then I go to Quebec, which is close to Toronto than Vancouver, and so on, and so on, and so on. So you have 25 pages. Christian Dior, I know it's not gonna buy from me directly, because sometimes they buy directly, but not, you have to look for the way they produce outside in the sourcing area. Coco and Club, and then, and so on and so on. That's how I do it. It's not because I know more than you. It's not because I've been living here more. It's because I am whatever. It's because I do a lot of research, a lot of time in front of the computer, a lot of time searching for buyers, a lot of time studying the buyers and the companies. Because listen, I don't know any of them. I don't know all of them. I know some of them that I can call and say, hi, how are you? This is Maria. Remember, oh yeah. But I know some of them. Maybe I know 80% of them, but not all of them. And sometimes when I call, the buyers are no longer working in the company. The buyers already into another company, so I don't know how to track them. So it's a lot of research. Basically, the whole work that you're gonna be doing, and this is the time. Why? Because right now you are at home. Right now you are looking for new strategies. Right now, this is the time to press the button and start from the past to the future, understanding where you're going, understanding your capacity, understanding how you're going to adapt and look for buyers. This is how I look for buyers. This is how it is. So basically, I go to my importers database. This is the database from the government of Canada. It's giving you all the importers from Canada by category. And if I go by countries, then you can click. Let's see. You see, there's not Ukrainian here. Pakistan, let's see. Okay, no import is available. Sometimes they don't want to give you the information because it's private, but you can, if you browse around, you will see You will see more, you will have more information about the countries that they are producing from. And that's what I do daily. This is what I do every single day, trying to find buyers for you, basically. So before I go to Janadine, before I move forward with my presentation, because I still have something else to tell you, I would like to hear questions. Did you have questions?
Yes, Maria, we have one question, and that the question regarding exhibition, trade show. What would you recommend for the producer of children clothes? What would be the famous and the best trade show?
For the children, I will say Las Vegas. Las Vegas, what it has there is different different products, and you also have designers. If you are a designer, they also have brands. If you have a brand, they also have sourcing if you want to do only sourcing, and they also have children. That's one pavilion, and they also have men if you have men, and they also have women as well. So basically, the most completely one is Las Vegas. But as I said right now, I don't know what is the direction, which direction the trade shows are going to take. So right now, what we are doing, supporting the companies, is basically we're doing virtual agendas with buyers. So that means that we're taking the companies and we're taking the potential buyers to visit the companies virtually. So we do something like this, like a Zoom, and we take the buyer to face one-on-one with the sourcing and with the SME, and the SME will be guiding a tour through the factory or giving them the samples through the camera. So right now we're trying to move very fast, as I said yesterday, to use the opportunity that everything is on hold, but it's not on hold because everything is moving in a different way, but it's moving. We're not paralyzed. We're not at home sitting looking to the ceiling. We're working. We're not just doing nothing. We are doing things. So the word stop is not the correct one. The word is moving in a different pace, moving in a different direction, but we're still moving. So I would like to, I don't know, Olga, if you want to talk about what we're doing a little bit with the virtual agendas and how we can support some more of the companies right now.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, because there is a question regarding the QTIS project. Will be continue and how it's possible to contact QTIS project. I will switch to Ukrainian and just to give some short information regarding that. Шановні учасники, зараз, як тільки...
So, dear participants, right now, as you have just heard from Maria, then we have the opportunity to engage more companies for the project, because currently we're working in the virtual format of communicating with buyers. And my contacts, you can see in the group chat already. You can contact me either on the phone or by email. So in order for us to start working right now, you have to be fully prepared, and you have to have all of the elements of the toolbox that Maria has mentioned. You have to have the English site, and you have to have already price lists that have been ready, that have been calculated in US dollars. You need to have the good company presentations, and you also have to be the manufacturer of women's apparel, because currently we have the goods, we have also good demand on women's apparel or the activewear. So please address me for this contacts. Unfortunately, the project works till the 30th of October officially, and unfortunately, starting from summer this year, we're not going to be dealing with the super active super active on promoting promoting Ukrainian producers for Canadian markets. So it's basically the final chances to join the activities of the project. So if you believe that you can do that, so please address us. Thank you very much.
Okay, Maria.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm done.
Okay. Any questions before I go into the next one? Nope. Okay. So these are my final tips before we start talking. I want to do it more like I have some extra notes that are not in the presentation, but I want to share with you regarding what's going on and how we can adapt and change to the new, people is calling new normal, so whatever, the new life that we're having. So success comes with a lot of work. Success comes with understanding us and understanding the market. When I said us, it's not us as a companies, as a producers, as a sourcing elements for the Canadian market or any other market. So we have to deliver what we promise. We have to be realistic in what we offer and what we promise. As I said, for example, if they ask you a question that you don't know the answer, you just don't random. You just said, at this point, I don't know. However, I will send you an email once I find out, or I talk to my production team. Basically, sometimes it's about production. Sometimes we do have the interview with the owner of the company and the buyer, or the sales rep and the buyer, and they don't know all the answers. So let me go back to my office, or tonight from the hotel, I will send an email to my team and I will reply to you as soon as I have the information from my sourcing team, from my production team. Samples, when they ask you for a sample, when they have to represent exactly what you have to offer. So when you come to a meeting and you have a sample, you have this beautiful blouse, and you want to showcase what you can do. You want to showcase the capacity of your production, the quality of your garment, the construction of the garment. Don't do what happened with us once. One of my companies came to the meetings with an amazing product line, and the buyer was so enchanted with the product line and the samples, and once he wants to try an order, wants to do a sample order, she said, no, I cannot give you this kind of products because we don't produce this anymore. And we were like, okay, so you brought samples to showcase your product capacity and your products quality, but you don't produce them anymore. So it was like a cold ice throwing on us in the middle of the agenda. So we lost that buyer, we lost that opportunity. So every time that we do something like that, the door is closed. Why? Because the buyer takes the opportunity, the time, and the effort to see us, and then we will fail in simple things like that. They said, these people, you guys are not ready. So, okay, thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, goodbye. And that's it. Basically, to open the door again for that specific company, it's gonna take some time. Maybe we won't be able to do it again. But in this case, I'm giving you everything before you attempt any meeting. So be sure that you are taking the samples that you can construct, that you have the material on the warehouse, that you have the material back at home, that you can provide those samples fast enough for the buyer to make an order with samples, or that you say like, oh, I love this quality of the fabric. Oh, well, it's discontinued. The supplier doesn't have that fabric anymore. And you go like, okay. So make sure that you bring the samples that represents fair enough who you are as a company, what is your production capacity, what is the quality of your products, that you can bring the samples to the table that you can give a value added, and you can have them and they can produce them. The third tip is clear pricing. Bring your price list to the meetings. I mean, you don't go like, how much is this sample? And you go like, give me 1 second. And you just start dropping papers. Everything is a mess. Now you have your price list close to your paperwork, and you go like, okay, this is, what reference is this? 00512. Okay, the price for that, if you order 100 units, is $15. If you order 2,000 units, it's, I don't know, $12. Okay, very good. Some very organized, very business oriented. The communication has to be complete, clear on the emails. As I said to you, it's not like a love story email. It's a straightforward. It is my introduction. You know how to construct a business email: introduction, the body of the email, the contact, the thank you remarks, and of course, your information, the contact information at the end of the email. So the opening is, you have to open the door. How do you open the door? I open the door for you with the free trade agreement. And then it comes who you are, and then it comes why you're writing them an email, the offer that you have for them, and then thank you, your contact information. Proactive. Be proactive, be creative. Okay, I loved your sample, but can you produce this with polka dots? Unfortunately, I cannot produce the polka dots because the polka dots have to be printed directly on the fabric, and this kind of fabric doesn't allow me to print, but I can do this. Instead of the pants that you asked me to print, I can produce jackets with this print of polka dots. Okay, can you send me a sample? Say, so you get creative, you be proactive. The ideal sourcing company, or the ideal company to work with, is the one who gives solutions instead of problems. If you give problems and no, I can't do that. No, I have to find this. No, the pocket can do with this. No, but no any solution at all. Like I said at the beginning, no. Can you put this pocket on the left side instead of the right? No. Okay. Can you lower the content of the polyester? No. Can you produce with only polyester? No. It doesn't work. It is, no, I cannot produce only polyester, because it's showing that you know your business. It's showing that you know your production. I cannot produce only polyester because this and this and this. However, if you blend the polyester with the viscose, or the polyester with the spandex, it's gonna give you the same feeling with lower price. It's gonna be, but it's not gonna raise down the quality, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not, because that's the communication. That's the business meeting. That's the business opportunity there. But if you close the door and say, no, do you have any options for, do you have blue? No, I don't have that blue that you're asking for, but we can make it. It's gonna take time, because the factory who prints or dye for us our garments or our fabric is working also with another big buyer. So it will take us around 2 extra weeks to give you that color. That may be working for you. Maybe, yes, that's a good option. See, you're giving solutions. You're not putting on the table the no and the problems. Could you give me that blue? No. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I don't see your faces, but believe me, it's not going to work. You have to come up with a proactive problem solving. If something is going on that is out of your hands, you communicate with the buyer and you said, listen, I need you to help me with this, because as I said, it's basically sometimes my equipment is broken. It's gonna take me a week to get my equipment fixed. Can you help me? Can you wait for me? Can you, and you come up with something with the buyer. How to lose a buyer? Very simple. You don't answer the emails. You don't give them the call that they're asking for. You take too long to answer it. The answer that you give sometimes is very random. Sometimes I read the emails that companies are giving to the buyers and I don't understand. I have to call Olga and said, Olga, can you translate for me? But not because of English, because it's just not clear what you're answering to the buyer. The buyer is asking you for quality and you're talking about when are you going to make an order? And you answer like that. I am not going to tell you about my quality or my production capacity if you don't sign a contract with me. And you go like, what? The signing of the contract will come. Sometimes comes after the first sample order. It's not going to come before. Everybody expects to sign a contract right away. And the contract is not going to be signed until the first order. The first order is placed on paper, on email, then comes the sign of the contract, not before. So I understand sometimes you want the commitment of the buyer before you do a sample order. Sometimes the sample order are very painful because they are 50 garments, 60 pieces, and you don't have the money for that. Simple. You said, I do the sample order for you. We go 50-50. You pay 50, I pay 50, you take over the shipping. Perfect. But you don't take it all on you because it's going to break you down. I don't expect you to pay for the sample order unless it's only one piece or two pieces. And if it's too many pieces asking back and forth, send me another one, send me another one, send me another one. It doesn't work. Then you say like, listen, I would like to send you samples. However, it takes money and time for me. I have to pay my employees. It would be better for me if you pay 80% or everything that you're gonna give me, you pay for me and I deduct it after the first order. That's how I do it with the buyers. I said, okay, the first sample order is gonna be 20 pieces. You pay, the buyer pays, and once the first order is assigned and committed, you deduct that sample order price from my first order. That's a commitment between you two. Or you said, I will give you the sample order, we pay 50-50 of the production, and you take over the shipping. It depends on the buyer, but never burn yourself and waste yourself in money, time, and effort until you have some kind of working together. At the beginning, yes, you have to give the samples. For example, right now we're working with Nordstrom. Nordstrom is going to ask for a couple samples. It's not going to ask for 20 at the beginning. Once the order is placed for a sample order, bigger order sample, then it comes the negotiation, who pays for the samples. But before that is, if they're asking you for, can you leave this dress for me? Yes. Why? Because sometimes they wear the dresses or they give it to somebody else to wear the dresses to see the quality. They put it on the washing machine to see how good the quality of the dress is in a washing machine. So they look at the care of the garment and they follow all the instructions that you've given them in the garment, and they see how good you know about that, how good you are in the knowledge of that, how good the behavior of the garment is, if the color is gonna go different in the washing machine, or the quality it's loose now, it's supposed to be tight when you wash the socks or the tights for exercises. So they want to try the sample. They want to give it to the people around the team. And what do you think about this dress? Yes, no, yes. So sometimes you have to leave the garment. Sometimes you cannot leave the garment because of the only samples you have. So they take a picture and you said, I will produce the garment a sample for you once I go back to my office, once I go back to the factory. So you have to come up with solution. Can you leave the garment with me? No. It happens to me before. Can you leave the garment with me? No. So I have to jump into the meeting and say, no, not right now, but he's gonna produce one sample like that for you when he goes back to the office. Something like that. So we talk about that because regarding samples, when you answer the calls and you said, I can do this, I cannot do that, respond exactly what they're asking you. No more than that. No, can you produce 20 pieces? Yes, I can produce 20 pieces in a 2 weeks period. That's it. No, well, 20 pieces, it will be too much, it will be too little. Just straightforward. Remember the linear thinking. It's not up, it's not down, it's not around, it's moving forward. Product quality is inconsistent. As I said before, if you send the first order and the order doesn't match with the quality of the samples that you present, it's going to go back. The penalty is going to be huge. And when you sign contract, you're going to suffer. So make sure that every order place has the same consistency with regarding quality and price. Price is changing every time. It goes up 20 cents, 10 cents, 1 cent. Sometimes you said, oh, but I only put up the price for 5 cents per garment. Yes, but listen, they're asking for 20,000 garments. So if you have problems to keep the price because you're sourcing, it's raising prices, you talk to the buyer. You say, listen, the price that I give you 2 months ago in US dollar doesn't work. My currency is losing power. Right now, I need to increase the price in 10 cents. He will decide. He will decide, okay, do it, or you know what, lower the amount of product. It depends on you guys. But if you just send the invoice and the price is 10 cents per garment higher without any notification, without any knowledge, notification to the buyer, it's going to be a dealer, like a very deal, like a broke deal, and you're going to lose the buyer. Failure to meet supply orders on time. That's another one. I've seen so many tears on this one. Tears of not a happiness, tears of very sad situations, including my tears, when you work so hard for 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years to achieve the business, and then the company doesn't produce on time, and the Valentine's Day, the merchandise is not here, and the company hates you forever. The buyer won't talk to you anymore and won't talk to me anymore because you made them lose money, and he may or she may lose her or his job as well. If the orders are not on time, it's a big deal for buyers, because if something is happening in between, you said 3 weeks, the production is going to be delivered, plus the time for shipping. If it's going to be by boat, it's going to be 1 week. This is going to be by plane, is going to be 3 days or 2 days, done. So that's what you have to achieve. If something happens in between, you have to let the buyer know. Don't wait until the last moment. Again, lack of knowledge on the packaging and labeling. This is something that sometimes, mostly of my buyers, when I see it, they give the instructions to the company about packaging and labeling. So it's not like you have to come with very creative ideas. The only time that you come with creative ideas is when you want to lower prices, or when you want to work with value added, like as I showed you yesterday, with a packaging that is green, that is good for the environment, that comes with a history in between. So that's the time that you come up with creative labeling and packaging. Sometimes the labeling For certain garments, for example, the yoga wear is too big, it's too itchy. So you come up with the idea, no, just print it in the fabric, you know, so that nobody's going to be itching and feeling uncomfortable during the yoga time or running time or exercise time. So those are the packaging and labeling. Basically, is based on the buyer. Sometimes they don't want you to put the labels on here on the back. They want the labels on the side. They want the labels on the legs of the pants. So it depends on the buyer. So keep in mind that it's not impossible to make business with Canada. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. Maria gave us tons of homework. It's better to do the homework before you collapse here and you have a nerve breakdown when I bring you here with buyers. And I see many, many, many breakdowns when the buyers are sitting in front of them and they don't even know what to do, what to say. That's why the training is so important. That's why we have to come up with a lot of feedback from people who already know. And that's why the homework, please, please do not jump into the water without jump into the swimming pool without water. That's my biggest advice. Study. And before we go to the questions and answers, more questions and answers, I want to share with you something that I've been thinking regarding this this new era that we are into, this new time off that we have. I want you to use the time to study. I want you to understand your business perspective, how you're going to adapt. As we talked yesterday with Andrew for some of the companies, what can I do, be effective in this time frame? There's a business value, but there's also a critical value. There is a add value in the product, like, okay, I'm going to talk about my production is going to be so on, respecting the environment or respecting the new rules of distancing. And you have to tell that to the buyer. You have to talk about the values that you follow into the production, into your company. Basically, when you do a presentation of the company, you have to put a value added. Why buyers don't like to work with China? And they tell me all the time, what buyers don't like to work with Bangladesh? When I talk to buyers about Bangladesh, they said to me, they lied to me. The Bangladeshi, mostly 80% of the percent of the time, they lie to us. That's what something we have to know, and we don't like to deal with that. We have to deal with that because prices, but it's a headache. It is, nothing is ideal, right? The ideal and perfect scenario, it's not real. We all come with flaws and difficulties. So for the Bangladeshis, it's a lies idea of lie to achieve the business, which doesn't work. They have to be very selective on the companies that they work with, and they have to create that culture of honesty, transparency, and trust. For China, why the buyers deal with China? Because price again. Now we don't know what's going to happen. When I talk to buyers and I ask them specifically about China, and I said, are you going to keep buying from China? You don't feel afraid what's happening with China? And they all come, it's all about money. It's all about the money that they already put into the market and to the Chinese production, and the price they offer. I don't know prices, how competitive they're going to be now, but I know from what I hear from them, and I talk to them mostly every day. I talk to some, next day I talk to other ones to know where they're going, how they're moving, how they're seeing the situation. And it's something that you have to come with a value added, a critical value. Listen, Ukraine never ever is going to compete with China at this point. Maybe now, because prices are going to be different now. I know the economy is going to change in China. It's going to change for us as well. But prices are going to be, what if prices are the same? What if? What if China comes with higher prices and the buyers have to run in panic to find new suppliers? What do we have to offer? What do Ukrainian companies have to offer at this point? We have to offer a critical value, an added value to our products. And that has to showcase in the emails that we communicate and the conversations that we have with the buyer and with the communication that you have with me and the communication that you have with the team in Kiev and the team in Ottawa and the team in Toronto. It has to come with a value added. For example, we need to find out how we support each other. Yesterday, once again, I was talking about getting together to create a window opportunity that any buyer can click. So imagine if you can present to me an online store, international store that I can present to my buyers from Ukraine. So my buyers, my suppliers from Ukraine to my buyers from Canada and US. It will be, instead of each company, will be all of you together, and I can click and I can see the profiles, the price list. That will be my ideal world. But this is the time to recap. This is the time to be creative. This is the time to come up with solutions. And I strongly believe that the solutions are coming together. So we need to share experiences. We will love to hear from you. If you have, between yesterday and today, brainstorming about ideas, how you can navigate to this time and be proactive and creative to come up with new solutions for what is coming. I can tell you right now that the behavior of the buyers that I deal with, they are sitting at home. Some of them, they go to the office, but it's by timing. So they rotate. So if the buyer number one comes, the buyer number two stays at home. So basically what they're doing right now is they're trying to combine the orders that they already made in the past for the summer and fall and summer, spring, summer, and see if the products can arrive on time in Canada and do it online because the stores are closed. So basically online sales are the one taking over, but they're preparing for the next season that hopefully the stores are going to be open. So they're going to work together, store plus e-commerce. So what if we have the platform between today and October that creates that platform to be able to sell directly to the buyers through the platform, and the buyers can go directly to the consumer. So it's a way of thinking. I understand from when I talk to QT's office that you as a country, you're very creative, you have IT very high, that you can come up with solutions for IT and platforms. You have brain, like a lot of very high capacity to produce new things and overcome challenges. I know that because I saw it firsthand when I was in your country. But I need all of that together to come up with ideas to sell our products into the Canadian market. We need to be creative and come up with ideas to overcome the challenges and contact the buyers to offer them solutions. Every time I call a buyer, they tell me, Maria, give me a solution. That's why we create the webinar. That's why we create the virtual buyer's agenda. That's why we are working on different things and different ideas together with everybody to help you to survive, and not only survive, to continue to penetrate this market and be able to have a sustainable business with Canada, not only once, but for a long, long time. In a couple of years, when I talk to you guys, you will say to me, oh, we're still selling. We are doing very well with Canada. It was challenging at the beginning, but we are doing it. One of the slides that I had here, and I just jump into the last one, is the website for the CUCC, which is the Chamber of Commerce. And you will have it. You have it on the presentation. They are there for you to help you. They are there to work and find ways to make sure that sustainability for you is a reality, that we don't waste this amount of time and in changing everything and then suddenly nothing happened. So we need to make sure that everything is in place before the project is over. QTIS project is there as well. The website is there if you want to browse around and navigate to the different informations and results that we already achieved. Hopefully, by the end of the project, I will have more successful stories letting you know about what is going on, and hopefully you are the ones coming up with ideas for critical value and critical thinking and critical solutions. So any questions?
Maria, what about the Genadine sample?
The Genadine, she's going to talk now, but she is going to have 5-10 minutes to talk. So
Okay.
I don't know if she wants to do it that first or after the questions.
Maybe she can do it first and then we will answer questions.
Okay.
Would you introduce Nadia as your participating company? Because I know that Genadine is very famous among the Ukrainian apparel community, I would say. And even today, I had some questions regarding the Genadine progress and Genadine experience being with the project.
Okay, maybe you can do it. Do you want me to do it now?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I can do it. Okay. So my dear company, Genadine, I was presented with this company a year ago by May. We were revising profiles. The companies had to have at that time the websites in English, all the toolbox together, and they present me this beautiful company. And I look at the profile, I saw the potential, however, I saw the challenges as well. So I had the first meeting with her on a Skype call. I have to understand your companies in order for me to be effective in the sourcing for you in the Canadian market for buyers. So the effectiveness of my work is based on the knowledge that I have on your company, the capacity that you have to transfer me all your information, and at the same time me trespassing that information to the buyer at one point, because I don't do it all the time. Basically, once I present the companies, you go directly and I will supporting, but basically what happened with Genadine was like, we took a lot of time back and forth talking. She was showing me samples. She was working very hard. She has the experience to come to Canada last year in August. She was with buyers here in Toronto, buyers back in Montreal. She will let you know about her experience and what she took over her in that time. And then we have an agenda with a buyer last December. It's specifically a buyer online for Amazon and the challenges that she has to adopt and overcome in order to be a supplier for Amazon Prime. And right now we're working with Nordstrom. So as you see, it's a progress line. It's not suddenly, it's not like next day, okay, I got you, I got him, get together and get an order. So it's my honor and it's my pleasure to work with this company, because she's one of the people that really take the time to study. She takes the time to understand what I'm talking. She is very diligent. She is very focused and also compromised. She has the qualities to succeed. I keep telling her that she will succeed in this market. She's still working on adaptation, so she will let you know about that. So Nadia, thank you for your time, and here's your space to talk to the participants.
Hi, Maria, thank you very much for the introduction and for your help all the way. Hi, everyone. I just tell you a little bit about the company, what we do. So knitwear manufacturing, we produce knitwear for women, men, children's, and also home textile. So anything you can knit, we do it. We are 7 years old, and we are quite small manufacturing. Our capacity is 1,800 products per month. And right now we have 22 in place. So yeah, we are quite small. We work in two directions. The first one, we have our trademarks. The main one is Genadine, which is for women. And we use natural yarn, which is 100% merino wool. And right now we work in Ukrainian market. Also, we export to Canada, and we export to I forgot. I remember, I will tell. And the second direction is a private label. So over 7 years, we have lots of garments, lots of models. So we can provide it to our clients. This is one of the main directions right now. And the third, the last one, is we design and develop the garments on designs by the client. So we produce the garment or collections from the sample or the graphic sketch. So this is our two directions. Our experience with the project, how it started. Yes, Maria was saying that we had experience in export with the small quantities, and it was our product from our trademark, Genadine. So we knew how to export. But what we realized when we started talking to Maria, we realized that we didn't have a proper marketing materials. We didn't have a proper English version of our website. We didn't have the right layout of the pricing. And for export, we worked with FCA pricing, and we needed to change to FOB pricing for Canada. So it's a different way of calculation, and it's a different way of working. It was totally new for us, scary, I would say. But yes, we did this preparation, and I thought, okay, the hard work is done, it's past. So we have a good product, and we done the materials, we done the pricing, we can go to Canada. But the real stuff, basically the hardest work just started when we came. And the first city was Toronto, which was even now, I cannot say, Maria was saying in the presentation that the segment is very different. It's very hard to understand the average size, the average tolerance of the women and ethnicity. So it's very, very diversified, I would say. So it's a huge, huge market. And we had a meeting, not me directly, there was a company, and the company didn't decide to have it, because we were a quite small production, decided that they're not interested in our company. And Maria, before the meeting, came and said, I will take some of the samples and I will show them, and we'll see what they think about it, if they will have a chance, have a time. So she took She took the samples. Afterwards, after the meeting, she came out and I said, like, okay, what was it? What was they saying? And she said, I gave them the men's jumper, 100% merino men's jumper. And they said, it's very nice, very good quality and everything. They liked it. And then Maria asked them, how much would you pay? And then they say $10. So it was like, okay, $10 is not going to even cover my cost for the yarn. So this was kind of, yeah, a bit disappointing. And like, okay, but it was Toronto. We had another meeting with buyers. We presented our product. Also, they liked the product, they liked the softness, they liked the seams, they liked the designs, they liked our lookbooks that we presented to them, and everything. Then we started talking about pricing, and everything was great, but the pricing was too high. So they were starting asking what we can do, in which kind of composition we can produce the same garment, but in different composition, because we have this segment and we need this pricing. So we chose some of the garments, and then I needed to calculate in a different composition to see if it's possible to give that the right pricing that they needed. So with this it's all about pricing, and in this, what we realized, you need to be very flexible. We had some issues with this, because we used to, in Ukraine, even with our clients, we used to, okay, we have merino wool and we discuss changes in design. So we are not talking about changing the pricing to to use less yarn, to have to a smaller price. And this was it's all about pricing. It's about, it's all about pricing. So can you use a little bit less yarn? Can you use different techniques to spend less time on the production, and also the price of the yarn? So there's in different ways we need to start thinking and calculating. One of my experience after the mission in Canada, I had the chance to go to apparel and sourcing in Paris, and there was manufacturing from China, and I was curious, so I went to some booths to Chinese manufacturers, and I started asking questions, and I found the similar jumper in merino wool. I asked the question, how much, the quantity, the timing. So I started asking this, and basically she said, they give me one pricing, then they say, but don't worry, if it's too high, we can do that. If it's still too high, we can do that. So in like 10 minutes, they gave me 6 options. So what I'm realizing that for me, for my production, that you need to be very flexible. So to get the client, you need to tell, okay, I can do that, I can do that. So maybe the seams, for example, we use for our products mostly, we use linkage machine. So the seams is very nice. But at the end of the day, what I realized, that maybe they don't need this nice seams. So we can use the overlock, the different machine to finish the goods. And the price will be different. But you need to present, you need to tell the difference. So for linkage machine, this is the price. So we are working on that. We're still learning how to adapt and give the right prices that Canadian buyer wants. And right now, we received the potential order from Nordstrom to calculate. It's not even an order, we need to make the calculations. So before that, we have sent them the price list for our products, and we have sent information about the company. After that, we received the request. They chose 4 garments. They asked for specific colors. They asked for composition. And also they said what kind of composition they want, and then they asked if you can provide another composition, and also the prices they would want. So we are calculating now, we are checking with different suppliers, and this is kind of the same with China, because I mean, they're amazing. They do everything in one place, and their supply chain is so good. It's been working for a long time, and for me, for our company, we need to learn. It needs to be you need to be sure in your supplier in terms of deliveries and the quality of the yarn that you order. So when you send the sample and the buyer say, okay, sample is good, and then you give the order and it's different quality. So this is kind of, you need to have a relationship already with your supply chain, and it's about the material. And another thing that we found quite interesting, it's labels, because everybody was asking in Canada, like, can you order for us? Can you produce it in Ukraine? Packaging, paper labels and jacquard labels, so everything. They want the whole product. So you need to provide the whole product from one place. And obviously you cannot do everything in your manufacturing. You need to have, as a going back, supply chain. So you need to know the places where you can do that and how long it will take, and the pricing from different techniques. So you are ready for calculation. It takes basically, as you know, time. For example, we had a request. We needed to calculate the garments that the buyer chose in different composition. Then we needed to send the request for our jacquard labels to another company for calculation as well. Then we need to send another company the calculation for the packaging, the specific design, and then for the cart as well. So there's lots of time taking to do this calculation, and yeah, and especially for sampling, it's also it's a small quantities. So some companies doesn't want to even calculate. So this is kind of our experience with Canada. We're still learning, and I would say that we are in the beginning, very beginning. It takes time, it takes patience, and it's just you need to be flexible. If you want to start working with Canadian market, you need to a little bit change the way of thinking. For us, for example, I know that lots of companies have been working with the huge quantities back in Ukraine, so it's kind of a bit easier for them, but still there is issues, differences. So yeah, and for understanding the market, we have a small example that we had a client from 2016 from Canada. She was buying our garments, Janadine trademark, and we had negotiation with her around a year. Then she had one order. Then she asked, so it's like the small history. Then she asked for the discounts, if we can lower the prices. We said no. And then she stopped working with us. Then in 2018, we started talking again, small orders. So it was small orders, maybe one order a year. And then she came and visited our manufacturing. She saw it. After a year, in August, when we went to Canada, I met with her, and because at that moment, and it was the end of the Toronto trip, I realized why she was asking for the pricing. I realized why she was asking for the different things, and when we had a different negotiation process. So for the trip with a Canadian buyer, we understand the market much better. So after that, after August, we had 3 orders from her. So it helped us to understand the segment even with our product, with our marine wool product. So this is, yeah, it takes time, and Qties help us all the way from the beginning, and Maria is quite tough, yes, but yes, thanks for her. We are still working in this way, and yeah. So I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone, and good luck.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you very much. We got a comment. Quality of Genadine products is excellent. Merino wool is warm, but not hot and still comfortable. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadia. So, do we have questions? Do you have comments? We still have a couple more minutes before I let you go.
So there is a couple of questions. One regarding the COVID-19 situation. Do you see perspective for the Ukrainian producers in the Canadian market regarding the COVID-19?
Do I see what? Sorry?
Perspective
Oh,
for Ukrainian
perspectives.
producers. Mm-hmm.
As I said, I think it's worldwide. It takes time, but I think right now, because we don't know what's going to happen with China, we don't know what's going to happen with the world. That's why I'm using this time. See, if I will be comfortable in my area and I will be saying, you know what, right now everything is difficult, we don't know where we're going, let's wait until we clarify things and situations, let's stop now. I didn't do that. I said, okay, it's a problem. China, Bangladesh, Vietnam, all of that areas where we have the main sourcing for Canada are suffering. Everybody's suffering. What we can do to take advantage of that, what we can do as a country, as a company, as a team, as a project. So that's why we're pushing in this time. We're not sitting down. We're pushing, even though we don't understand what's going to happen tomorrow, even though we don't understand how the behavior of the market is going. The buyers don't know. I know the buyers are waiting for China and the borders to be open to run there to see what's going to happen. But before that, I need you guys to be on their side. I need your companies to be on the table so they have options. If something happens with China, we're there. If nothing happens with China, we're there. If the economy changes, we're there. If the economy doesn't change, we are there. Otherwise, as we said, let's turn off the lights and go home. We cannot do that. This is not the time to turn off the lights. This is the time to work hard. This is the time to come up with ideas. This is the time to push the accelerator forward and move forward with a goal and clear idea. Whatever happens, we need to be in the radar. I am leaving Ukraine in the radar of every buyer in Canada that I have contact with. If the economy change, Ukrainian companies are there. If it doesn't change, we are there. If they continue buying from Bangladesh, Ukrainian is still an option. I talked to one of the biggest buyers that I have, and I said, I've been telling you for many years, diversify. And you guys as a company decide to go only with China, diversify. Now comes the diversification time. I have Ukraine, and now he's paying attention to me after years of knocking on his door for many other countries. China is the best. We do everything with China. Prices are the best, delivery time, production capacity. We're doing well with China. We don't need more sourcing. Diversify. Now he called me and said, I remember you have companies from Ukraine. Oh, now you remember. See, I never give up on the idea because he only closed the door for me 1,000 times. Because he said to me no 1,000 times. I never leave the opportunity on the side. I keep pushing. And now he thought, and he said to me, I call you because I thought about 3 years ago that you told me diversify. 4 years ago, diversify. And I still write an email to him. I said, I still think about you. I have Ukraine, and then I come up with. Now he's looking at the companies. He's looking at the profiles. He's looking at the capacity. Now he's like changing. We don't know what's going to happen, but at least my mission is going to be fulfilled. My mission is to bring Canada into the map of the buyers, to bring Ukraine, into the map of the Canadian buyers. And that's what I'm doing with economy, with our economy, because I know at one point I receive emails from companies that I work with, suppliers that I worked 2 years ago. Right now, they're doing the first order, the first container after 2 years. I left the project. The project is gone, done for good. And after 2 years of after work, it's producing results. So no effort is in vain. Right now is the time to think and act. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't just go and cry over what's happening. On my side, I'm doing everything I can to present the companies. On the Cuties project, the same. The people from the Chamber of Commerce, the same. So we're going to see some kind of light and results because we're working. We're not sleeping. We're not crying over what's going on. So I will say to you, move forward. Don't think about this as an impediment to keep knowing and to keep moving.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. And one more question. In which format would you recommend to propose the products? Excel, YML, etc.
You see, it depends. Like, let's go back to yesterday. This is the main easy way and recognized way to present. There you go. You see, you have the company name, you have the picture, little high quality picture of the garment, you have the composition, you have the size, the MOQs, lead time, prices, without packaging and labeling. See, this is easy. This is you don't select 200 samples. You select maximum 10 pictures with the 10 best garments that you produce based on the knowledge of the buyer. Like, if you know the company that you're going to pursue, you need to paste the samples here. For example, Tristan, they don't sell socks, so this is not for Tristan. Tristan will be a dress, pant, jacket, blouse, and so on. This is an example for somebody who's buying socks. Also, think about, like I said yesterday, what is the people doing right now? What is the garments people are looking for? Socks, comfortable clothing, leggings, sweaters, cardigans, jumpers, what do you call, like sweatpants, things like that. So think about, don't think about you, think about here and the world. You think about you first. The first thing you think is about you and your company, how you're going to adapt, how you're going to do it, what is your vision, what is your mission, where are you going, how you're going to achieve your goals, what do you need to change, and after that, how do I prepare myself to complete all of this? And then you go for the target. Simultaneously can be targeting the buyer. So this is the way we do it very easily. Give me 1 second. Sorry. So this is the easy way to present the line sheet.
Thank you, Maria. One more question. What would you recommend? I mean, taking into consideration that Ukrainian habit to say no more than other nations do. So what would you recommend? How to work regarding the flexibility?
Well, that was something that I believe Nadia also highlight. She said, okay, don't say no. What is the success of the Chinese? She highlighted that when she visited the booth in the Chinese, in the show in Paris. She mentioned that the Chinese give options. She said 10 different options, but we're not looking for 10. That's the Chinese style. We're not Chinese. You guys have your own style. So you say 9 times more often no. So you are going to try to, instead of saying no and close the sentence, no with a solution. I have no idea how to do this. However, I'm going to work with my team to find solution for you. And I will reply my email to you in 2 days, 2 weeks. And then if you cannot reply, you respond. I've been still looking for you, for your answer. However, my time frame is too short. Give me 2 more days. You know, it is about communication. It's about how you, because I don't know the reasons behind this statement. You might know, but for me, it's like, no is closing the deal. No, I cannot produce for you that, but I can produce this, but I can do this, but I can innovate with this, but I can adapt with this. As she said, flexibility, adaptation, flexibility. So instead of a line like no, it's like no, but I can do this. So it is a very soft line instead of a solid straight line. It's a soft wavy line that says, no, I cannot do it, but I can do this. If the price is not correct for you, I can lower the price 10 cents. But what cannot happen is a no. That cannot happen.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. We don't have any more questions so far.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope this information, it's going to resonate in you. It's not just information, it's reality. It's the whole experience packaging in 2 hours. It's like a burger package, like I give it to you. Now you have to digest. We're here for you through the project, and whatever you need, I know Olga and her team can find ways to direct you. And as I said, don't be discouraged. This is the time. Canada, once you achieve what the buyer is looking for, you will have a long-lasting relationship with them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for your great job you did for us and you will do for us. And thank you. That's always a pleasure to listen to you. I hope we won't disappoint you with our success.
No, you guys don't disappoint me. It's just like we're learning in this, right? I'm learning from you as well. I'm learning about your culture and the way you think. And it's a lot of, as I said, it's not a solid line. It's a very wavy, sweet line. So yeah, so it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. And thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Maria. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.